It's day 10 on the Raid Shadow Legends free-to-play versus budget experiment, where we're comparing two Raid Shadow Legends accounts started on the same day at the same time and played in the same way by a lovable knucklehead. That's me. With one major difference. One account will be free to play and the other has a monthly spending budget. What does your spending get you if you're on a budget? For a year, I'll be showing you the difference. In this video, we'll check the progress of both accounts. We'll talk a little bit about Cursed City and the Epic Empowerment and how those two things relate to each other. And then we're going to pull Ancient Shards on the budget account. And since we're here, I'll show you my Ancient Shard pulls on my main account as well. Stay tuned. Okay, real quick, let's check the progress on both of our accounts. If you look at the green border around, you'll see that we're boxed in with a kind of a greenish, bluish box around the free-to-play account. So when I switch back and forth between accounts, you can see the free-to-play is always in the green border, and the budget account will be with no border. Does that make sense? Okay. Thank you. Please be patient with me. I'm doing my best. All right, so let's check our progress here. In the Adelan Chase on the free-to-play, we're getting our 6-star perception chest. Hopefully it'll be a percent main stat with good substats. And then on the new player rewards, we're getting a 4-star glove, gauntlet, and then we're getting a rare book. Okay, and we'll just go through and collect our stuff here. All the goodies. Okay, free to play. We are at level 37 on the free to play. I'll show you the champions just so you see where the levels are at. We've got our Ethel up to level 54. We've got Adelan at level 50. My Taragi still isn't 5-starred because I've been focusing on Dragon. Stagnite's up to level 39 and Padma at 38. Been doing a lot more Dragon, and so we're just working on those teams there. I'll go over here to the budget account, and we'll just collect the rewards real quick there too. There's our new player reward. Same thing, gauntlet there. Daily login rare book. A little bit of silver that we got with the Adelan Chase. And we've got a mystery shard and an appreciation pack. Love those appreciation packs. They come every other day and they have an energy refill in them. And those are an outstanding reward. I wish they had that every day. Nothing in the shop too interesting. And so you'll see that we're also at level 37 on the budget account. We've made a little bit more progress on the budget account. In the missions, we are at 116 out of 286 for the Arbiter missions. And we've made a little bit of progress on challenges as well. We've got this one left. Have to have 4 champions of level 50 or higher to complete this and pick up this epic book. So hopefully we'll have that out of the way soon. We've got some other challenges that we could look at too, but really it's just basically just going through and checking them off as you go. I'm really interested in getting Arbiter on both accounts as soon as I possibly can. So I've been focused more on that. Now that I have Ethel at level 60 on both accounts, I think I almost have her at level 60 on the free to play. But I've got her 6-starred on both accounts, and so mainly I'm going after that. That's the main thing that I'm interested in is going after Arbiter. I will be building all the others to level 50, and then on the teams I'll go to level 50, and then one at a time I'll be 6-starring the people on my main teams, the champions on my main teams. So yeah, you can see I'm 113. So I'm only three missions ahead on the budget account. So they've been pretty close to each other, but like I said, I have noticed a difference between the ease of getting champions leveled up in the budget account over the free-to-play, and that's just because of the raid card. With the Cursed City resetting today, I wanted to talk a little bit about how nice it is that it pre-fills from the teams that you had worked on the last rotation. This is the first time we've duplicated a rotation on the Cursed City, and so it's the first time we've been able to experience this. So that's been good, and it dawned on me. I hadn't been too excited about the Epic Empowerment, but that is going to be huge for some of those Cursed City levels where they're really tough to do. And so what I think happened, the genius of what Plarium did here, is instead of nerfing the difficulty of the Cursed City, they gave players who've been playing for a while, they gave them the opportunity to empower some of their Epic champions. And I think it was a brilliant move on their part too. So some of those stages that are really difficult to do, where you can't use any legendaries at all, they made it so that now you can empower some of those epics that you might be using, make them a little bit more powerful, make it a little less difficult to pass some of those stages. And I think it gives a lot of the players hope that they might be able to complete that someday, because I was looking at some of them going, I don't know how long this is going to take me to get through this stage, but I've seen the gear that some of the guys that have been able to complete especially the Soul Crossed area, and and I've gotten stuck on Soul Cross every time. This rotation of Soul Cross, to me, was the simplest to do. I thought it was going to be the most difficult when it first came out, but turns out it was the easiest, and it gives me some hope with the Epic Empowerment now that I might be able to build some teams and hopefully in the future be able to do it, where I kind of had given up on, I'm just not sure this is worth it to try and complete this thing. Now I think we can with the Epic Empowerment. That might be good. And so I thought at the beginning, I thought they were going to nerf Soul Cross at least. I thought they were going to nerf some of it, make it a little easier to do, but the Epic Empowerment made it a lot simpler, and I think I'm just a little bit more positive now, and I doubt that I'm alone in that. I think it was a brilliant move on their part. Word of caution about Epic Empowerment: please don't empower any of your epics until you have all of your faction guardians in the epic category filled, because it gives so many stats, and this gives it to all the epics in that faction. And so you really want to have those full first, and then, so like for me, for example, I have 3 copies of Royal Guard here. I have one just sitting there waiting. And so I could, if I wanted to, empower that one of my Royal Guards. And that might be a nice thing for me to be able to do, but it's really important to have all of these filled up first of the epics. So today I'm going to be pulling shards on the budget account. Let's go over to that one. And I believe the 2 times Ancients for epics and legendaries gives us a good opportunity to pick up maybe a champion that can help us on our teams. As I mentioned in previous videos, however, I won't be attempting to complete the Wixwell fusion on either account because I just don't have the shards. I think it would be wise to keep our resources and manage our resources really well, so that next month, approximately a month from now, when they have another fusion, and hopefully it'll be a good one, that we might be able to complete that fusion and more comfortably. There's no reason to try and stretch ourselves to do the Wixwell fusion when we just don't have the shards to do it in the shard pulling events. But I am going to pull shards anyway on this budget account, just because I need somebody to fill in on teams. And on the free-to-play account, I'll be just saving my shards because we've had some really good luck. We've got 5 or 6 really good core champions that we can build teams with, and I think that'll be nice to be able to save our shards on the free-to-play. It'll probably only be another 6 weeks or so before we have another 2 times on Ancients, and it could be even sooner than that because they've been juggling some of these weekend events. So I'll just be saving the Ancient shards on that and focus on building the champions we have on the free-to-play. That said, let's pull some shards. All right, so since we're not going for any of the rewards on the Wixwell Fusion summoning event, I'm not going to pull all of the Ancient shards unless I have to be able to get somebody good. So we're just going to pull one at a time. If we get somebody really good, then we're going to stop, depending on what we get here. So let's fire off the first one, see what we get. And we have a 10 times for Wallmaster Athorian, which I would love to get a Wallmaster Athorian, but we're not going to hold out too much hope for that. Crimson Slayer. I hope it helps that I talk my way through the thought process that I have when getting again an epic. It's an Adriel. I think Adriel was she my first epic on my main account? Maybe not. I can't remember for sure. I know I pulled her very early, and as I read her kit, I got pretty excited about her, and then I found out she's not, for an epic, she's not that great. Adriel is not a champion I would build as an epic, but it gave us some points for the event, so hopefully we might be able to pick up something from that in the the anticipation. It's a rare dwarf. I love Boltsmith. I love the dwarves. Boltsmith is kind of an average rare. He does ignore some defense on his A3, but he's all single target. And it does grant an extra turn on that self buff, and then he has an ally attack and faction corrupts by 20%. Pretty average for a rare. Not something we're gonna build. Let's see what we got. Another Executioner. Executioner's in the for Relic Keeper. So now I have two. I have two Executioners now for my Relic Keeper fusion. Okay. Back to the shard pulls. See, I was hoping we'd get somebody really good, like the first pull, and then I'd just be able to stop. But apparently that's not going to happen for us. Another rare and another honor guard. We keep getting dwarves. I don't know why. I seem to be weighted towards dwarves in the rares. Let's get another one. And it's another rare, and it's a Magus. So Magus is in the Rosin fusion. Longest shard pull in history. I apologize. I keep going on tangents. Let's get another epic. An epic! Hey, it's a Fenshi. Fenshi can be very useful in Fire Knight. He has a decreased speed on his A1 with a pretty good chance of landing it. He has a 3-hit on his A2, and he has a excellent chance of reducing the target's turn meter by 15%. So yeah, he's really good. His A3, he attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit places a 5% poison debuff on the target for 3 turns. Will ignore 10% of the target's defense for each poison debuff on the target. So I don't know if there's a cap on that. So, theoretically it's possible to have 10 poisons on a target. That's not going to happen very often. I don't know. I'd have to look in and see if there's a cap to that, to how much defense that he could ignore, because hypothetically you could ignore 100% of defense if he has 10 poisons, but I'd like to see if that's tested. I'm not sure if if that works or not. The problem with having poisons on Fire Knight is that you fill up his debuff bar, but you really don't want the Fire Knight to take a turn, and for the poisons to actually do damage, the target has to take a turn. So not sure. I would probably just shut that skill off personally, but maybe there's a strategy out there that I'm not aware of. So we did have another epic. He might be useful to build. Let's go for maybe something else. I don't know. Slasher. Am I number 1 in my tournament already after that many shards? I didn't even think about that, where I'm early game. I'm in a tournament with other early game players. And a skink. We got 2 lizard men in a row, a slasher and a skink. They're pretty average rares, both of them. And another rare. It's a Wanderer. I believe, unless I'm wrong, Wanderer is also part of the Rosin fusion. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, so we got another, and then those 2 are farmable. The Valerie and the Gnarlhorn. They're both... Wait, Gnarlhorn is not farmable. That's right. He's not. I was confusing Gnarlhorn with Greybeard for some reason. And then Raider. Yeah, so we've got one farmable one there to get, and then 2 that we can get from shards. So yeah, we're building up for the rosin fusion here. That's actually good. Sometimes it can take months to pull a specific rare that you're looking for. All right, well, let's pull the last 2 and just see what we get. Come on, let's get a legendary. I think that would be nice, said everybody. Another rare. Hey, it's a gator. In my 1 rare to build in each faction, I claimed that gator would be the one I would build if I could only build 1 rare in each faction. Gator has a 3-turn full cleanse from all allies, and for rares, that's rare. I think there's only him and Reliquary Tender that have that. So, and Reliquary Tender's a void rare. So I think Gator could be useful. Not sure we'd build him early, but if we need a cleanser, we've got one. I will put him in the vault. I won't be feeding Gator. Okay, fingers crossed for the last one. It's another rare, and it's Slayer. I've heard Slayer hits kind of hard, but probably just means he hits kind of hard for a rare, which is not that interesting to us. On his A3, he attacks one enemy, places 5% poison debuff for 2 turns, has a 75% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn, and that goes to 100%. So if you need 1 stun landed, you have a target that's particularly difficult to deal with, and if he has enough accuracy, he can land a stun. And he has an AoE on his A2 that has no other effects, and has 30% chance of placing a 25% decrease attack debuff for 2 turns on his A1. And so it goes up to a 50% chance for the decrease attack, small version of decrease attack. I have never built a Slayer. I don't want to build a Slayer. That's a little bit disappointing. So let's go look at that's amazing that we are number 1. Because the event has been going on for, 18 hours at this point, maybe 16 hours. I'm sure we won't win. Yeah, there's other people that are participating, but so we've got 600 points. Oh, there we are. Okay, so we've got 100. Yeah, takes up a lot of room. We've got 100 energy there that we can come pick up later. That's nice. Okay, well, on to the main account. So let's take a look quick at the champions that we have on the budget account. I'm sure I will build the Fenchi eventually. He probably won't. He won't be. He's not moving up to number 1 priority or anything, but he could be useful in Clan Boss also. I've heard because he's attack based. I haven't looked at his base stats, but because he's attack based, the decreased speed is irrelevant for Clan Boss. Reduced target's turn meter is irrelevant for Clan Boss. But it is, this is the first champion that we have pulled that has a significant turn meter reduction. So that could be useful. We could also build an Armiger, but having a Force Affinity and an Armiger who's Spirit Affinity would be helpful to have turn meter reduction when we need it. And then the Poison, though, that's interesting for Clan Boss. If we could keep him alive and have him placing poison on Clan Boss, that he might become our poisoner. I'm going to look into that, and maybe if we get him into a good lifesteal set, he could be a good poisoner, and then he'd also be ignoring defense on his hits. Not sure. I haven't heard of anybody trying that, but I'm gonna look into that. He might be a good replacement for our Mad Monk once we move on from Mad Monk. I keep saying Mad Monk. He's Outlaw Monk. Mad Monk is another game. Sorry. Yeah, that's all that we got interesting. I will be keeping Gator, and I will be keeping Marked, and any of the rares that are in the Rosin Fusion. I will be keeping them. I'll be building them up to the point where they need to be built for the Rosin Fusion, but then that's it. They won't be getting masteries or anything else. But I'll get them up to the point that I need them for the Rosin Fusion, and then until I have everything collected and ready for the Rosin Fusion, I'll be using them in Faction Wars. If I have a chance to fuse one of the epics for the Rosin Fusion, I'll do that. But that'll be good. I feel a little bit bad that we didn't get something better that would fit into teams better, but I'm starting to think Fenchi might be good for Clan Boss, and so maybe that's low key, that's a great pull for us. Okay, so on to the shard pulls for the main account. For the main account, I am very interested in going for this Wallmaster Athorian. We have a 10 times chance on ancient shards for him. I have 67 ancient shards. Fingers crossed that we get something good here. I'm going to make myself a little bit smaller because I'm not going to be going one by one on these shards. I'm sorry if that takes too long. People are probably, if anybody's watching this, they're probably frustrated with how long I take because I want to talk about the champions. But I enjoy learning about the kits, and there's so many champions in this game. I don't think anybody, unless you've got an eidetic memory, has all the kits memorized. But I'm enjoying this. This has been kind of fun. Going for 67, that should be enough to get me. I'm hoping to get in the rewards for the tournament, the champion chase tournament here. I'm hoping that I can at least get up to this level to the legendary book. I think the legendary book is an achievable goal with the number of shards that I have, but it just depends on how many epics and hopefully legendaries I pull from these ancient shards. I won't be pulling any of the sacred shards or the others. I'm going to save those for next weekend. I think during the summon rush next week, I'm guessing that to get a copy of the epic that we're going to need maybe 14 sacred shards to get a copy of that epic. And I would like to do that so that I can be a little bit more relaxed and maybe not have to complete every event to get all of the rares for the Wixwell Fusion. So I'll be keeping all the sacreds. I'm not going to be pulling any of these this weekend, and hopefully I'll have even more next weekend when the summon rush happens. But I'm really interested in that Wallmaster Athorian. Hopefully be able to pick him up and get him on the main account. So I'm going to do the 7, and then I'll do 6 10 pulls. So, and don't worry, I'm not going to try and go through every kit. Courtier. Second shard. Adjudicator. Third. Another Ironclad. Ironclad can be fun. You should I built Ironclad because I thought I would have the stats to be able to make him work the right way. Mystic Hand can work early game for stealing some buffs, but I wouldn't suggest building Mystic Hand. He's kind of the brunt of some of the jokes in the advertising. It's really funny. If you watch any of the raid advertising, he's kind of fun how they pick at him. Conqueror. I think Conqueror ignores some defense or something. Another Judicator. I always wonder what the odds are. Within 7 shards pulling this same rare. Given that there's so many rares in this game, pulling the same one in 7 shards, or in 6 shards, that's crazy. An epic. We got a Fodbor the Bard. Fodbor can be good. Heal reduction on the A1. He's got a stun on the A2. And then he's got an AoE on the A3 where he can do decreased defense. And it's the big version once he's ascended. So yeah, he can be your decreased defense champion for AoE in the Dwarves faction. And in other places you can use him. And where he's Spirit Affinity, if you need that, he can be good. Okay, let's do some 10 pulls. So hopefully my big head will be out of the way here. Let's see what it looks like. Coming down. Oh. Hey, a Geomancer. We were just talking about epic empowerment, and that'll be nice because I've got 3 copies of Geomancer. That'll be my 4th copy, and I only have 2 built and that I use. So I'll be empowering my Geomancer. That's good. For this account, none of the rares are particularly interesting. I do use an Eris in my clan boss team. I have a Myth Foo team built, and it's Eris can be useful. Oh, legendary! What do we got? A Roxam. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna sing any police songs today. That is great. Roxam. I did not have a Roxam. I probably won't build a Roxam. He has a face on the back of his head. Crazy looking dude. I love Roxanne. And I've really never gotten into his kit very much. His A1 has a 50% chance of filling this champion's turn meter by 10%. Also has a 50% chance of placing a Veil buff on this champion for 1 turn if the attack is critical. So it goes up to 60% chance on both of those things. So kind of a random, not too reliable thing, but looks like it could be useful. Attacks 1 enemy, fills this champion's turn meter by 50%. Has a 75% chance of placing a stun debuff on the target for 1 turn when attacking while under Veil or under Perfect Veil debuff. There's a lot of what ifs and maybes in this one. Has a 75% chance of placing a sleep debuff on the target for 1 turn when attacking without Veil or Perfect Veil buff. Okay, so whether he has Veil or not, he has either sleep or stun available. And then places a Perfect Veil buff on this champion for 2 turns after attacking without Veil or Perfect Veil buff. So he gets Perfect Veil if he's attacking with this skill without Veil or Perfect Veil. So he's got stun, sleep, and Veil on that one. Oh my gosh. Let's look at this. Attacks all enemies, has a 75% chance of placing 60% decreased defense debuff and 25% weaken debuff. Decreases the cooldown of the jungle ambush skill by 2 turns. Okay, and that's his AoE. And that goes down to 3. Okay, so it just turns it into a 1-turn cooldown. So if it's already on cooldown, it would be available the next turn. Does this have... Okay, it's a 4-turn cooldown on this skill. While not under Veil or Perfect Veil, he attacks 1 enemy, has a 75% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense and a 25% weaken debuff on the target for 2 turns before attacking, places a Perfect Veil buff on this champion for 2 turns after attacking. So he again places some Perfect Veil, and he has a chance of getting a decreased defense and weaken on the same skill. Okay, and I guess that's why I've heard that he can be good. Places block buffs and a 25% strengthen buff on this champion for 1 turn and a 15% continuous heal buff for 2 turns whenever they receive a Veil or Perfect Veil buff. Okay. He's very selfish. He doesn't do anything for his teammates. Increases ally crit rate in Doom Tower battles by 23%. Kind of a random aura, but yeah, Roxanne. I probably won't be building a Roxanne one. See, Carlinia, I guess she can be good. She was part of a fusion a few months ago. Never built Carlinia. Burn Geary can be good. He can do some solo stuff in Baumel early stages. Let's do another 10 pull, and then I'll check and see where we're at in the tournament. Rough Stone hits AoE. Mistress of Hymns, Kitus. Kitus is kind of a gimmicky one, but he can hit really, really hard, but he has to have the right setup. That was another one that I've sort of run into where I built an interesting team and then I realized, it might have been a mistake. Okay, 30 shards more on the main account. Let's see what we got. I had to go in and mostly I don't like the inside baseball stuff, but I had to go in and make some space, and I don't feed rares. Because we have a champ training event going on right now, I went in and raised all their levels to 15. So my method with champ training is I level all of my 3 stars up with 2 brews, which takes them up to level 15, and then I run them through campaign. I run 3 of them through campaign. I level them up all the way in campaign, and then I rank them up to 4, and then I put 2 brews plus 1 common, which gives them a level 15. And I couldn't, because I ran out of room and I didn't have rares. And yes, I know I could keep expanding my capacity, but I don't want to spend 395 gems for 10 more slots. I know eventually I'm going to have to do it, but I am loath to do that. I don't want to do it. Anyway, rant over on that. I've got 30 more shards. I'm really still hoping for that Wallmaster Athorian, but the Roxanne reset my mercy, and I just don't. It's probably not going to happen now, but we remain ever hopeful, and it only takes one, right? What did you guys get? Let me know in the comments. If you pulled shards, make a comment what you pulled. You know, it'd be really cool if we pulled one of the epics for the fusion. Really not likely to happen. Kalia ignores some shield. She's kind of okay. Masamoto actually is a pretty good defensive epic in the Shadowkin. Malkuth Bloodflock is a reviver in the Knights Revenant. Oh, come on. Sanguinia is pretty good. Hexie I've never used. Kinegashi's a reviver in the Shadowkin. So 3 epics for that. That's pretty good. I think we're up to the points now. I know I've only got 10 left, but I think we're up to the points now in the tournament. Oh yeah, that gives us our legendary book. I'm going to stop there. I'll get the energy later. I'm going to stop there. That's all I'm going to do. My goal was to get up to the legendary book, and we've got that. So I'm going to keep the 10 ancient shards that I have left. It's always tempting when you've got a 10 times going on. It's always tempting, especially when it's somebody you want. It's always tempting to keep going until you don't have any more shards, but I think I'm going to hold on to these 10. It's a very, very remote chance that I would even pull another legendary, and then it's even more, then it's really remote that I would get the Wallmaster anyway. So since I pulled the legendary, that reset my mercy. I'm just gonna stick where I am right now. And anyway, I hope this was fun. I hope you had better luck than I did. I did pull legendary in 60 or 50 shards, 57 shards. So that's pretty good luck, but would like to have been somebody I'd like to build or be useful. All right, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you for watching. We made some good progress today. We got some shards pulled. We got another epic for the budget account that I think is going to round out a beginning to some good teams and some good progress with that account. We made some progress with the free to play, even though you didn't see any of it, but we are making some progress on the free to play. Like I said, I'm seeing a gap, but it's a slow gap because about $50 that I spent on the budget account extends over 6 months. We won't really see that much progress on it, and we'll be able to evaluate that over time. And so when we get into the spending on the budget account, I think I'm going to probably do the daily gem pack. That's a $10 per month. And then I'm going to go for a Forge Pass if we have a good one on the next one. If not, I'll reevaluate then. But I think the Forge Pass is a pretty good value. I won't do the whole thing. If you work hard enough on the Forge Pass, I've never bought the Forge Pass on my main account, but it's always tempting because I think it's a pretty good value as far as value in the game goes. So we'll take a look at that, and we're just going to keep going on the progress. It's been a fun experience so far, and I'm going to keep it going. I'm committed for the full year. So. Here we go, and I hope you're well. I hope you're having a good weekend if you're watching this right when it releases, and I appreciate you.